Welcome to Tech Challenge Makers Conquer E-commerce. I'm ELISE, your resident tech expert and author of the book Browser versus Buyer. I've worked with e-commerce shop owners for over 6 years, and I've helped hundreds of creatives overcome their technology fears. Gain clarity and direction in your business with ELISE's E-commerce Elevator 6-month group coaching program. Join now at myscheduledbiz.com/elevator. The link is in the show notes. Hey Bizzers, today we're talking to Melissa Pikul from the Handmade How and Biz Fit Formula. She helps handmade entrepreneurs transition out of the craft show rat race and into consistent and profitable online sales. By the end of this episode, you're going to understand why virtual trunk shows are so important to your business and your sales, the technology that's required, and walk away with one action step. Melissa, I am so glad to have you here to share your expertise with us. Please tell us a little bit about your business and your experience with e-commerce.
Hi, Elise. Hi, Bizzers. It is so great to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me on. This is my first podcast interview ever. So yay. All right. So e-commerce, that's going on this part. So I've actually been in business now for 10 years. This is the 10-year anniversary for my jewelry business, Metals and Pieces. I kind of can't believe that part. And I don't know about you guys. I don't know if this story is familiar to anyone, but I definitely started out by I found something I liked making, and then people wanted to buy it. I was confused, but it's okay. So I started doing craft shows, and I did craft shows. I did festivals. I did events and whatnot for several years, just doing the show circuits. We actually got settled down. We found narrowed in. Scottish Highland Games are the best for my people. I make the best sales there. It's so weird. But anyway, I had those, and I had Etsy, and I had a website, but they didn't really do anything. I'm mainly focused on getting new customers, getting the leads in through doing in-person events. And everything online was just supplementary reminder. It's hey, I exist, kind of stuff. I don't know if anyone can relate to that. And then, of course, COVID happened. Are we allowed to say that word yet in media? I don't actually know.
Several other podcast guests have sort of alluded to,
the Rona happened. And okay, hilarious side note for this. This literally happened last night. We were at the Verizon store, and we were talking about how old a phone was. And the guy we were talking to was yeah, I consider it BC, before Rona. As talking about time, I was when did this happen? Oh, it was BC, or it was after Rona, or AC. And I thought that was hilarious, snort laugh level hilarious. But anyway, so during Rona, and again, if you do festivals or whatnot, this might be a familiar story. Everything started canceling. And I was we'll get through it. It's okay. The summer shows will still happen. The summer shows start canceling. The fall shows will happen. The fall shows start canceling. The Christmas shows will happen. The Christmas shows cancel. And my brain goes, oh shit, what are we going to do? So I'm in panic mode. My customers are bored as hell on the internet. I'm sorry, I curse a lot. Is that gonna? I'll try to hold it back at least.
The other day ago, I cursed in one of my classes with some of my Bizzers, and I was oh, I'm sorry. I really try not to do that.
When I'm in teaching mode, yes. In conversation mode, it all slips right through. But anyway, so we're in Rona, all this is going on. And I was okay, they're bored, I'm broke. So we need to do something to keep the business moving. And that's where I really developed my virtual trunk show method to do all of these things. So does that answer your question? I don't know if I'm leading into the next question or not.
You're leading into the next question, but that's okay. Basically, the long and short version here is that Melissa's been doing this forever, and she's been pretty successful with her jewelry business. So she knows what she's talking about, and she was able to make the transition from being able to do live events and then not being able to do live events, which is something that's pretty awesome. So she's had plenty of experience with doing virtual trunk shows, which brings us to our next question. How do virtual trunk shows impact sales, and why are they an important key to increasing sales?
Excellent. I love that you're able to come back and recap me with bullet points. That is such a necessary skill. I love you, Elise. All right, first off, what is a virtual trunk show? Let's start right there before we talk about how they impact anything. So I define virtual trunk shows as, or basically live sales, live platform sales as QVC meets late night TV. We're definitely there for the shopping like QVC, but includes the fun, the entertainment, the predictable character and scheduling of a late night TV show. Like, who's your favorite late night TV host? Yes.
So we actually talked about this on another thing we did together, and I don't really watch late night TV very much, but there used to be, and I have checked, it is no longer there. There used to be a late night TV show that Elmo hosted that I thought was hilarious.
Somehow that's like triggering a memory right there. Like something is noodling in the back of my head about an Elmo late night TV show. All right. My favorite is James Corden. I think he's like, is he in his last season now or not? You can tell how much I actually watch TV right there. But I love Carpool Karaoke. Definitely YouTube's afterwards. All right. So the whole point of the virtual trunk show is really to merge these two vibes going on there. And also like going on in that, my people like being late at night. So I feel like a late night TV host when I'm running my shows. But what it comes down, so it's hosted on a live platform like a Facebook Live, an Instagram Live, a YouTube Live, or wherever you can go live and have a chat. We'll talk a little bit about that later. But it is the easiest way to make sales because it takes no tech. Like, who gets frustrated setting up Etsy products and trying to figure out Etsy SEO, and who gets frustrated setting up website products and being like, does my shopping cart work? Is that why I'm not getting sales? Like, is the cart broken and I just don't know it? No, I might be the only one. I know Elise doesn't have that issue. She knows immediately if the tech is going wrong. But I looked at this and being able to provide this entertainment value with people going on to a live platform and holding up a product in my hand to be like, this product is awesome. This is why it's awesome. This is the story why I made this product. And isn't this product cool? And then having my fans be able to go in the comments, sold. I want that product. I want that product. I want that product. And it's just like, it's such a fun feeling right there. So they are the easiest way to make sales because they require very, very little tech and no platform setup tech. Everything, all the work is on the live, on the camera right here.
I think that not only is it easier, it actually works, because I think that there's a lot of things that we are told to do that will get us sales. But I know for myself, from you and from my own clients who have done your trunk show methods, that it actually works and you get sales. Even businesses that have been unable to get very many sales previous to this do get sales.
Yes. Yeah. The most, you are not the only one. I've had several testimonials come back. They're like, look, I paid for your course in 3 shows. I have not encountered any other selling technique that has paid for itself in 3 events or 3 sales. So 3 sales events, I mean, not 3 purchases, but yeah. And one of the biggest reasons it does this is it's like instant KLT. You're providing entertainment for your people who are watching, and you're engaging straight up with them, just like we're having the conversation right now, at least same way when you're doing these live shows. People can see your products interacting with a human. They can see your passion for your products, for what you make, lighting up your face as you explain this, as you tell the stories behind it, because this is all the stuff that would technically go on the description page for your product that no one reads. But they are very happy to listen to it in audio, to watch and listen to it on a video. So that makes it extremely high in building KLT, which is know, like, and trust.
Thank you for the definition. I know, like, and trust, but when you said KLT, I had no idea what you were talking about.
No problem at all. I look at KLT and it's like, can I buy a vowel? Too much? No.
We're going to go with it. We're going to just brush on by that one. Anything else about sales for virtual trunk shows? Or are we ready to move on to the next question?
Well, it's like their direct communication with your audience. So like that part is so cool right there. And also, again, I don't know if this moves into the next question or not. I have this weird way of like predicting your questions. We'll see or not. But the beauty is that one thing that so many people are scared of is that's, or the first place that we go to when we make a product, we're like, oh, this product is awesome. Look at this cool thing I made. And we go to our friends and family and they're like, meh, I could do it better. Why don't you do a different color? That's too big, too small, too weird. What were you thinking? Like, that happens. But I'm here to tell you, like, right now that doesn't matter. The only opinions that matter are your customers, and they vote for your favorite products by buying them. trading their money for your products. And when you put them up in a trunk show, you're able to ignore all of the family, friend, want to be nice, but they're not in it. They're not your customers. You're able to just go straight to your customers. You're able to instantly find out your products that are your best sellers, the ones that people really resonate with, or the ones they don't. So,
and it can help you figure out product lines for your website or something else by doing this, the way of testing, right? So
instant
that
testing
also can help you get more sales, because if you know this thing is good, that people like it, and that's what you decide to sell, guess what? It's going to get sales as opposed to having a flop.
Yes. And it's like they're so awesome for product testing. Now I'm spoiled here. I'm in the jewelry world. I know there are businesses that cannot do this. If you're in pottery, if you're in soap, your prototype process is a lot longer than it is for me in jewelry. I totally get that. But when you're doing this kind of method here, as long as you have an easy production method, you can literally make one item as a prototype. And so your expense investment in that one item is not high. And if it sells and people really want it, fantastic, you can make more. If it doesn't sell, if it's a flop item, then you only have one on hand that you made. It's not like you have 15 of this thing because you thought it was going to be awesome, but you're the only one who thinks it's awesome. That happened a lot before I started doing trunk shows. Oh, the 35 Pokemon necklaces I still have.
I think that we have pretty effectively covered the fact that you and I both know that this is a way to actually get sales for your business. Let's talk a little bit about the tech. Now, I know you said earlier that the tech is really simple and straightforward and that, it's easy. And I know that that's true when compared to other things. But I also know my people, and I know that sometimes even easy tech can be a problem. So where do you find that people that are trying to use trunk shows become overwhelmed when it comes to actually running the show itself?
So there's two spots that I find are like the big roadblocks. The first one is turning on the camera, actually going live. But I'm going to go stand right here and I'm going to soapbox and say, I believe that is more of a fear than a tech problem. That is I don't want to hit the button because I'm scared of going on camera, which is a totally valid fear. Isn't it one of the number one fears in the world is public speaking? Totally understand that. It's not a tech issue. So many platforms have made it so easy. Just hit that button. It's just a matter of poke the button and you're live, whether you're on Instagram, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Facebook. You can go live on TikTok. I don't know if they save a chat on TikTok though. I don't know that one. I'm learning TikTok. So anyway, but yeah, the two biggest issues. The first one, like I said, that's a fear, is actually turning on the camera and going in there and then talking to a camera and being like, I feel like an idiot, until people show up in the chat. And then you go, people are here. Usually the first time that's what happens. What? People showed up. Oh my God. Now it's even scarier. And then they start talking. They're like, oh, that's awesome. And you get comfortable. You're like, okay, all right. Deep breath. We can do this. Now I'm having a conversation, even though I can't see that person. Let's just be on the phone. We have a conversation. We don't see them. So that one's more of a fear. But the big tech issue that I notice people have so much is in actually invoicing and in collecting money. So I am a very, very firm believer in that we shouldn't invest heavy money in something until we know it's actually going to make us money. So what I mean by that is there are a lot of different platforms, softwares, and stuff out there that you can sync into your live feed and it will automatically invoice people for you. They have special comment triggers and different things in there that will create the invoice, send it out, process it for you. I don't believe in investing in them until you have 25 highly active shoppers on your feed.
So to that end, do you use these?
I do not.
Okay.
I do not. I am still doing the old-fashioned way. So the old-fashioned way here, the simple, low-tech way to do it, is to track your sales. So let me walk you through the sales process here in a trunk show, because we're talking around this right here. When I'm running a trunk show, I will have between probably 10 and 15 items, and each item will have a catalog number. When my customers come on to shop, I tell them, okay, drop in the comments if you want this item sold. Item number 153. I have over 700 or 800 items in mind that I've done for shows so far. That's regardless of fact. item number 3. And then like I'm jewelry, so I'll have variations in colors or sizes or whatnot, but that's right there. Sold with the item number. That's the information that I need from a customer. And from that, we'll go ahead. Oh, I actually have them here. If you're watching the video, you can see I have little, like I think of order tickets in a restaurant is how we lay it out here at my house. Myself and Cheerio, my teammate. I'm the dancing monkey on the camera. She's the one writing down the orders on the side. If she's not here, I'm writing orders at the same time. So on each, I do little slips of paper. It doesn't have to be that way. You can do it however you want. But I'll put the customer's name at the top, and then I'll be putting the numbers of what they ordered. And this makes it so easy. I don't have to write down. It's like, oh, they wanted the triple flower, purple pendant necklace, and the earrings. And then they wanted the yellow polka dot pillow and also, but the gray polka dot blanket. And it's like, no, I don't want to do any of that kind of stuff. So I give everything order numbers. So my system is very simple for them to shop, sold plus the order number. After the show is over, and hopefully that makes sense. That's pretty good right there.
Yeah, I just want to clarify real quick. When you say order number, she means the item number. So every item has its own number. And so you'll write down the number for the specific item. So it's not actually like a full order where it's showing you their order number is 8,796 and they have 5 products on it. It's the number for each item. Right.
Thank you, Elise. Thank you for clarifying on that one. Not enough coffee today. That's okay. Yeah, so if I have a show and I have, say, 10 items on it, I have items numbers 1 through 10. This is item number 1. This is item number 2. This is item number 7. And then as they do sold 8, sold 9, sold 10, or whatever, sold 1, whatever that is, I'm recording those item numbers on my sheet. So I create myself a little kind of ticket. Like I said, I think of it like when the waiter is writing down your order at the restaurant and then it goes into the back to the chef and they have them sticking up on the wall. That's the visual in my head, but that's okay. Anyway, after the show is over, after I hit finish, I hit end on that live stream. I turn the lights off in the studio. I get a dessert because you just did a show. You totally deserve an instant reward for that. Pumpkin pie is my favorite. But after that, then I sit down, I open up my invoicing app. Now, most payment processors, and if you're doing regular shows, you probably have a payment processor right there, will do invoices. So I tend to use PayPal for my invoices. And for my people who hate PayPal, I will use Square for invoices if they request it of me. And I'll sit down with my dessert. I'll grab my stack of order sheets next to me and I'll go through and I'll be emailing people out their invoices. And just getting through that part right there, the tech and the sitting down, it's like, okay, open PayPal, go to invoices, make sure I have their email address for PayPal. So if it's a new shopper on my show, I will tell them straight up before the show is over, make sure that they have messaged me their email address for PayPal and their billing zip code, because I want to make sure that if I need to collect sales tax on them, that I have that information. Not a lawyer, not a tax professional, not an accountant, none of that. That you need to research on your own, but still. Throw it in there. And so then I sit down with these and I just start entering them into PayPal. So I'll put their email address in there and then I just line item for each, or setting in the line items for each item that they ordered and sending it out. But I've noticed like, I'm sorry.
And then you send it out and then they pay you.
Yeah. Click send and then they pay. And the great thing with PayPal, I haven't had to use it in Square, so I don't know if they have it in there, is if a couple of days pass and they haven't paid, I can set resend invoice.
So I have to know.
Send them a Facebook message. Hey, did you get this?
Well, and they have a link that you can send also. So I know I've had my own clients who are doing trunk shows have the same problem and they're sending a link because for whatever reason, the email doesn't work or whatever. So yeah, it gives you lots of options with PayPal. Now, I do know I have heard from my own clients a few tech issues as well. But what I have found is most of the time, those issues have to do with trying to overcomplicate things. So I think the way that you teach and what you recommend is keeping it as simple as possible. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, if you keep it as simple as possible, the tech problems are way less. I have clients that want to multi-stream. And if you're tech challenged, which is the whole point of this podcast, multi-streaming is not as easy as just putting live on Facebook or wherever you're at. So that is one that I've definitely heard. And for those of you who don't know what multi-streaming is, it means you're going live on multiple platforms at the same time. So say Facebook and YouTube or something like that. That's where I've had most of the feedback from my people when they're trying to elevate or something. And I'm like, it's going to be simpler if you just do one.
One of the new things, this just came up in Q&As because we host weekly Q&As for those who are in my course for this. But one of the things that we just talked about, like, it's so cool that you say that, is they were talking about multi-stream. It's like, no, probably an easier way to do it is once you finish your live stream, you can download that video, especially if you're doing these on Facebook. Download that video, then upload that video onto YouTube. And you can tell your fans, you can email out to them and whatnot and be like, hey, we did the show. It was awesome. I want you to be able to catch the replay while we still have some stock available. And by the way, if you hate Facebook, you can now watch the show. You can watch the replay on YouTube.
Yep. Make it an advantage to them.
Definitely hate Facebook.
Okay. Anything else? Any other thoughts about tech or things that we've missed?
A lot of it is, like you said, it's overcomplicating. And the system itself, like, I designed the system to be simple and to be replicable. So when I talked in the beginning, like QVC means late night TV, the other great thing about these shows and how they so build KLT, know, like, and trust, they build like raving fans who show up. By the way, side note, the comments on these shows make awesome testimonials. You can definitely lead your fans down that path right there. But one of the really cool things it does is when you become predictable, if you can set yourself onto a schedule that your customers know, okay, it's Saturday night, Melissa's going to be on. You become part of their routine instead of just being the occasional spontaneous event. And that can really help. Like I said, it boosts them valuing you, them knowing you, them relying on you. And when you show up all the time, you show that you're dependable without them ever having to make a purchase.
Right.
You're able to prove it ahead of time. So
yeah, for sure. Definitely. So we have one more question. Well, we actually have two more questions. We have one more question that's related to this. And that is, if you were advising someone that wants to do their own trunk shows, what is the one thing that you would tell them that they need to implement to get ready for their first virtual trunk show?
The first thing to do, okay, so this is a two-step right here, because for the first step is release. First one is pick your platform. Like, where do you want to go live? That is the very first decision you have to make. Where are you going to go live? Are you going to go live on Facebook? Are you going to go live on Instagram? Are you going to go live on YouTube? Like, what are you going to do? Once you've made that decision, the real action step is to poll your audience for a time and day that you should be doing your show. So again, I'm going to go back to like the in-person events here. If you're in person, you know that a key metric between having an awesome day and having a mess sales day is where your booth is located. Are you getting actual foot traffic past you in order to make your sales awesome or stellar or have a good day? So that's an in-person is location, location, location. Online, that really translates into timing. And because they're not coming to an event to see you, you are now intruding kind of on their time. You need to be aware of what's the best time for them. You can have the best products, you have the best show in the world, but if your audience is doing something else, like dinner, sleeping, school, after school activities, church, brunch, anything that we do in our daily lives, if you're interrupting on one of those times, they're not going to come to your show. So you need to be very aware of your audience and pull them for when to do it, the time and the date. So you need to ask them. And once they make a decision or they vote, or at least one person votes, you're like, okay, we're going with it. Then you need to promote that you're having a show. And you need to constantly be listening to them with this. Like, I recently repolled my audience. Now I have done 80 or 90 shows at this point. We're approaching the 100 mark on shows. I'm going to really like that. Oh, that's going to be an awesome show. I didn't think of doing that before, but yeah. No filter. And I have been consistently running my shows at 8:30 at night on Saturdays. That's what worked really well through the Rona and everything. And then people didn't tell me any different. I randomly threw it out there the other day. It's like, I noticed a lot of people are jumping on a little bit later. Do you guys want me to move it to 9 o'clock? And the outpouring through the chat, 9 would be great. Yes, do it at 9 o'clock. So I'm just shifting it 30 minutes. But everybody was so excited for that. It allowed them to finish what they were doing at that point in their life and now jump onto the show. I will caveat that with saying that my audience is nationwide. I'm on the East Coast. I have a lot of shoppers that are central, that are mountain, that are Pacific time zones. So 9 o'clock at night for me is 6 o'clock for Pacific, I think. 5 or 6.
8 o'clock for me would be 6 o'clock. So yes, that is correct.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Versus 5:30. It's like, it does make an extreme difference right there. I mean, to kind of counter that, I've had people jump on my shows who are like, yeah, I'm sneaking your show and I'm at work right now. So if they call me, I have to run, but I really want these items. And they've literally done that from work. So that's hilarious. To really hammer in on this one about timing, because I talk about late night TV all the time on here, I think it'd be really entertaining to think about soap operas. Soap operas would not have taken off as a genre if they ran at 7 p.m. at night. Because what were people doing at that period? They're watching the news at 7 at night. Instead, soap operas ran in the middle of the day when the guy's at work and the mom or the wife or whatever is at home with apparently nothing to do. That's what the TV producers thought was nothing to do. We know that's all a lie, but that's how soap operas were able to grow, is because they were taken in a time place that didn't have competition. So we want to make sure that we're doing the same thing with our show. So I hope that made sense. Like, it's a new analogy to add in.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that makes perfect sense. The other thing is, when you ask, it makes it appear as if you care, which of course you do care, right? So don't do that.
You do care.
Whatever. But it shows them that you care about what is best for them. And I think that is huge when it comes to something like this. Like, come join me. Let's have fun. Let's have a party. And I'll show you some really cool stuff that I made.
It's also putting a little bit of ownership in their hands when they vote. And especially if you choose the time that they selected that worked for them, it's like, oh, I had input on that. And it gives them a little bit of ownership in your brand. And that's really fantastic.
Yeah. I always say, if you can get someone to raise their hand, they've already half bought it.
Yep. Oh, yes.
You're halfway there. They already raised their hand. That's me. I want that. You're halfway there. Okay, so Melissa, so trunk shows, that is your thing. Trunk Show Secrets is your course.
Yes.
And we'll have a link to Trunk Show Secrets here on the podcast or the YouTube channel, wherever you're watching or listening. And I want to thank you for joining me on the podcast, but I know that you have something that you would like to give our people. So if you want to share that, that would be great.
Absolutely. If you are a step-by-step person, and I'm not going to say needs hand-holding, but appreciates it. Like, we're so busy in our lives that sometimes we just need someone to walk us through something. Yeah, I can figure it out on my own, but I don't have time to. So totally, the course, definitely. We are click by click, step by step on how to set up a profitable, amazing trunk show. For those who are more on the run or not on the run, but are like, I got time, I can figure this out myself and whatnot, I do have a cheat sheet for you. So if you go to thehandmadehow.com/cheat code, you can download my trunk show checklist, which walks through top of the line style, everything you need to do to set up and run a profitable trunk show.
So free thing, go get the checklist. You want Melissa to show you over the shoulder how to do this step by step. Step by step. Go get MSB Trunk Show Secrets is the links that you can get access to that, and it'll be in the podcast as well. And Melissa, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. If our listeners want to connect with you, where would they find you?
Definitely one of the best ways to connect with me is on YouTube. I think it's the youtube.com/the handmade how. That's how that address goes.
They can actually search for your name, Melissa Pikul, or Handmade How. I know it comes up both ways. Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully we'll have you again sometime soon. All right. Thanks.
All right. Bye.
If you like what we're doing here at Tech Challenge Makers Conquer E-commerce, and it's helping you gain clarity and direction in your business, you should check out ELISE's e-commerce elevator. In this 6-month group coaching program, I'll guide you through the ins and outs of building a business for purchase conversion. You'll also get to join up with a small group of other e-commerce shop owners who are focused on building exponential growth and reaching the right audience. Head over to myschedulebiz.com/elevator and join us. We welcome a limited number of new members every 6 months, and by signing up today, you'll reserve your spot. Thanks for listening. See you next week right here on Tech Challenge Makers Conquer E-commerce.